FCRA bill has been controversial enough, but now its movement towards Joint Parliamentary Committee route is also equally controversial, because it is not just about this FCRA bill, it is about what opposition wants, how government is not just maybe enhancing accountability with Joint Parliamentary Committee, but actually delaying the confrontation, and how it is politically entwined with Delimitation Bill as well. Hello everyone, welcome to Vajiram and Ravi's Flash News. My name is Shubhangi Singh, and in today's session we are not going to just focus on FCRA bill. We have already covered that in detail. We have understood why that is controversial. Today's focus would be to understand that when we are looking at Joint Parliamentary Committee route, which the government is already considering, why that route is not just about enhancing legislation, the scrutiny, but rather it is probably about delaying the confrontation. And in this delay, a lot can happen, much more related with the Delimitation Bill as well. We will be solving out this puzzle and untangling the threads around it, starting with understanding that what exactly is happening. So as of now, there are clear reports that the government is considering that the FCRA bill might be recommended to Joint Parliamentary Committee. But this is not the immediate thing that we need to consider. We need to understand that how, after intense opposition of the FCRA bill, this is when Joint Parliamentary Committee scrutiny has come into the picture. And in this context, the government has also reached out to the opposition saying that we are ready to soften, change certain provisions of FCRA bill. But the question is, why? And what is in it for them? So in this context, a lot is happening, but we have to understand, especially from the lens of how Joint Parliamentary Committee comes into the picture, how it solves the problem, if there is any political angle involved with delimitation, what is that, and how the parliamentary accountability works out. Because is the JPC route the best route? Does it still give the parliament to power to legislate, and everything around it? So when we are looking at this situation, we all know that we have FCRA, that is Foreign Contribution Regulation Act of 2010. As of now, the amendment to this particular act is being proposed, and that amendment bill has been already introduced in Lok Sabha. Now, when we are looking at this amendment, the whole idea is to regulate the foreign funding which is coming into our country, and multiple provisions such as a centrally designated authority, what would be the purpose of the NGO civil societies, how the funds would be utilized, the renewal, and all the provision I have already explained in detail. You can go and watch the Flash News episode. But in this context, the biggest question that the opposition is clearly raising, that this automatically curbs the rights and what work civil societies, NGOs are doing. So this is where opposition is clearly saying the moment foreign funding comes into the picture, you cannot always doubt it. There is a lot of contribution that has been done, a lot of nation building that has also happened with foreign funding. So it cannot be always seen with a lens of suspicion. And in this context, we also have to understand that how minorities might be feeling threatened. For example, if you look at Kerala, multiple churches run schools, they run activity centers, vocational centers. A lot of nation building is also happening there. But when we are looking at this extremely regulated, tightened FCRA bill, that complicates the situations a lot. So in this context, FCRA has itself been a controversy, where US legislator is telling that FCRA is not acceptable, it is against Christianity. So that has been a whole conversation in itself. But when we come to its clearance, its movement, because it is a bill that has been tabled in Lok Sabha, how it will move across, this is what we need to understand today. Because of continuous opposition by the opposition parties, this has been as of now put on hold. This is where government is trying to reach out and understand that how this bill can go through, and this is where the Delimitation Bill also briefly comes into the picture, so that we understand that how parliamentary accountability is an essential step for the government to get anything through. Now at the start itself, let us get a clarity on Delimitation Bill and the link right here. So as of now, when you clearly look at it, these two bills are absolutely unrelated. They have no relevance at all. But when we are looking at the political movement of the present government, which needs wider support to actually bring in the proposed delimitation exercise, that is why it is being brought together. That is why it is being brought together in conversation. I'll explain how. So when we are looking at Delimitation Bill of 2026, if you remember, it was introduced in April and it was introduced with Constitutional Amendment Bill as well. So in this context, it proposed that the existing freeze, which is on interstate allocation of Lok Sabha seats, that will be ended, and the representation will be linked to population, which was widely opposed by especially southern state. It also proposed that Lok Sabha seats will be increased from 550 to 850, and the framework which is governing women's reservation, that will be able to take effect because of these changes that have been proposed. Now this was proposed, but if you remember, it was not passed. Now this is where we are seeing the political entanglement. What? Government wants that delimitation should take place. For that, they need constitutional amendment. If they need constitutional amendment, they need special majority in parliament, which they do not have as of now. That means they need political support beyond NDA. And if they need political support beyond NDA, then that means they have to rope in more people. So in this context, what they are doing is they are leveraging the opposition on FCRA bill. They are saying, okay, opposition is demanding that either you withdraw this FCRA bill or send it to Joint Parliamentary Committee. So government thinks that probably we can leverage. If we tell the opposition, we convince the opposition that okay, this FCRA bill is being sent to Joint Parliamentary Committee. Now can you please consider giving support to this? Can you help us out with this? This is all the relation between these two bills is. That's all. So that the parliamentary approval is granted. So that it is passed through the House through special majority because it is a constitutional amendment. Can you tell me in the comment section, what is the special majority that is required for a constitutional amendment bill to pass? Now that we have established the political context, let's go back to the initial conversation that we started around FCRA bill. Now when we are looking at the Joint Parliamentary Committee route that is being considered for FCRA bill, does that mean that there will be better scrutiny, or it is just the way of government of delaying the confrontation? So for that, first we have to understand that what exactly is Joint Parliamentary Committee and how does it work. Now Joint Parliamentary Committee is an ad hoc committee where we have members of parliament from both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha who consider a specific matter or a bill which will be given to them. It is an ad hoc committee. So this is not present permanently. It will be constituted through a proper motion which will be adopted by both houses of the parliament. That means both houses agree that this bill should go to a joint parliamentary committee, and that is when this committee will be constituted. For example, recently Jan Vishwas bill, the Waqf amendment bill, the Constitution 129th amendment bill, that has gone to joint parliamentary committee. Now what is the process when we are looking at JPC into the picture? So when we are looking at the JPC route, initially the bill introduced, the motion to refer the bill to Joint Parliamentary Committee, any minister or MP can move this motion. Then the same bill is passed in the other house and it nominates members because it has members from both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. So the members are also nominated. Committee is constituted, chairperson is appointed, and then proper evidences are taken up, memoranda, experts, advice, everything is done, clause by clause examination happens. Committee brings up a report with observations, recommendations, and that report is given to Parliament. Now if you look at this procedure, the best thing Joint Parliamentary Committee will do is scrutiny, not just a random scrutiny, but a detailed, fine scrutiny would be done. But at the same time, bill will again come to the House to be considered. Report will be there for the House to understand that what the bill is offering, what is good about it, what is not good about it, what are the recommendations by the expert. So in this context, the most important thing about a joint parliamentary committee is to understand that they will examine the bill, they will hear the government and concerned ministry that why they want this bill to pass, they will consult experts, stakeholders, public views, they will also scrutinize if there are individual clauses, they will also suggest amendments, but at the same time, JPC cannot amend the bill. The JPC cannot enact the bill. They cannot overrule the government, and the report which they give is only recommendatory. So all in all, it will take the longer route. The bill will come through a longer route, but it will still be put in front of Parliament. Parliament will be the final deciding authority. Joint Parliamentary Committee just gives it a better, wider consultation and a detailed scrutiny. That scrutiny might mount up to something, it might not mount up to something. That is for the government to decide. And when we are looking at this, we have to understand, can government actually choose to go through JPC route? No, government cannot. Again, as I told you, the whole process is decided by the Parliament. JPC is proposed, government proposes Joint Parliamentary Committee referral. If the motion is accepted by both of the House, then only Joint Parliamentary Committee will examine the bill. If not, then this whole JPC scrutiny, this will not happen. So it's not that government is promising, okay, we will send it to JPC. It does not happen like that. Government, again, if they have the required majority to pass the motion, then only it will be referred to Joint Parliamentary Committee. So it is not at the discretion of the government. Now in this context, it is very important to understand that if it is not at the discretion of the government, if it is not going to help enactment of the bill, and in the end it has to come to the Parliament, then why government might consider or even prefer Joint Parliamentary Committee? It broadly helps in bringing the legislation, but given the time and the wider consultation, it helps in diffusing the resistance, especially the immediate and extensive resistance that is seen by the opposition. It gives better time so that the legislation can be understood. If there is any contentious provision that can be problematic later, that can be identified. If the government wants to correct it, it can be done. And meanwhile all this is going, the government can actually work on political consensus. So without withdrawing the bill, they are able to buy more time, allow for detailed scrutiny and protect their own broad legislative agenda. So all in all, it is a win-win for the government. The bill is already facing opposition, demands for withdrawal. If pushing it out through the JPC route, if possible, if the motions allow, then this is something that might soften the opposition against FCRA bill. And that is why the government is considering the Joint Parliamentary Committee route. So when we are looking at JPC route, it is about greater accountability or delayed accountability. So in this context, you have to understand, it is not about either. This is a political term, how that is going to be used. Joint Parliamentary Committee is about scrutiny. This is where parliamentary debate brings in the accountability and government response is related to executive answerability. In the end, what we are looking at is that JPC is a mechanism that can strengthen scrutiny. What happens lies still with the Parliament. What are your thoughts on this? Let me know in the comment section. I'll be waiting for your thoughts. What do you think can be the way forward, if any, for the approval of FCRA bill? I'll be leaving you here with a prelims practice question. Let me know the answer to this in the comment section. That was all from my side. Thank you so much.